Hello everyone, Brian Lee here with the Indiana Real Estate Institute. Welcome and thank you for visiting the site. One of the questions I get asked all the time is, Brian, what's the difference between an online versus a live presentation of the course? What are the pros and cons? This video is going to help you understand some of those things to consider when making a choice. With regard to the online classes, there are some pros to this. You can move at your own pace. You can move at your own time. So you get to choose when you watch the videos. You can choose whether it's early in the morning, late in the afternoon, between different things that you're doing. You can do it at your own pace. Also, as funny as it is, you don't have to fight with traffic. You don't have to take a shower. You don't have to get dressed up. You can sit in the comfort of your own home and enjoy that experience. So that's another piece that I like to point out there. Something else too that online does, actually kind of in the background, is it teaches you self-discipline because you have to choose to take the courses. So in that way, it actually is somewhat helpful for you. It also helps some people that have an aversion to crowds. My classroom holds 50 people. We'll have anywhere between 30 and 40 to maybe 50 people at any one time. And quite honestly, I had recognized that there are some people out there that don't like being around crowds. So if you have that aversion, if you have a concern with that, then maybe online might be an option for you. Unfortunately, some of the cons to online are the reasons why I typically don't suggest people do that. The first thing is that it's all self-learning. Certainly, I'm going to be available to answer questions for you, things like that, but at the end of the day, if you're watching this video at 1 a.m., I am not going to be up to answer questions for you. You're going to have to send me an email and I'll get back to you the next day, so it kind of limits and throttles what you can do. Also, another big thing, this is probably the number one reason why I suggest people don't do online, quite honestly, is that you lack the interaction with other students, and that is where so much learning comes from. You get networking and interaction and other pieces from other students that really help you to learn, and that's something that you miss out on that you just cannot replace with an online experience. Also, again, I mentioned this earlier, but your questions are never going to be answered in real time. You fire off an email to me, maybe I'm available, maybe I respond pretty quickly, but I commit to at least responding within 1 day, so you might get an answer within a day. Sometimes it might be quicker, but again, you're just not getting that immediate response. It also requires that self-discipline. It is something that you learn, and it's one thing that you get there, but one of the things that we've found is with online experiences is there are so many distractions. You're doing this class at home, so there's laundry, there's dinner, there's kids, there's pets, there's the UPS guy ringing at the doorbell, all that kind of stuff. All those are distractions, so it pulls you away from it. So we found that sometimes actually it takes longer to actually take the class because again, with all the distractions, you do 15 minutes here, a half hour there, you don't get it done maybe as quickly. Also, unfortunately, one of the downsides to online too is that the state exam passing rates are typically lower for most people, that it does take you longer to pass the state exam than if you had taken the live experience. With regard to live classes, some of the pros to this are interaction with other students. It's something I just mentioned. You get a lot of learning from that. You get to talk with other people. You get to network with other students, other people that you're going to eventually probably be working with, either directly or indirectly in the industry. So it really helps to make those connections and meet new people to help learn throughout the classroom and then continuing your education and experiences as you go through it. Also, we provide multiple ways of learning in the classroom. Online, all you're doing is watching a video. That's the only thing we can do. In class, we have different ways that we can present things. We have auditory learning, the visual learning, things like that we get to help you to understand this material so much more. Questions are also answered in real time. So again, you have a question in the live class, I'm answering it right then and there. So you're getting the answer right away, so that way it helps you to piece the material together the best that you can. Also, there are no outside distractions. There's nothing out there. You're going to be sitting in a classroom with other people. So the laundry might still need to be done at your home, but at the end of the day, you're still in the classroom, you're focused, you're there for the 2 or 3 or 4 hours that you're there, and you're knocking it out. Also, the last piece that's a really big pro too is again that the state exam passing rates are typically higher for the live classes. You're in there, you're engaged, you are able to engage a lot more into it, so you actually end up doing better typically than you would in an online experience. Now with the live class, there are some cons, so there are some things to consider, to keep in mind in making your choice. First of all, the live classes are not at your pace. They are set with what the students do in the classroom and quite honestly my own pace. Some people learn faster. Some people are saying, Brian, come on, speed up. I want to go because I got this concept. Let's move on. And I also have some students that are like, Brian, I got it, but I need to hear it again. I need to hear this another thing. So in the classroom, I can't throttle. I kind of go at a medium pace, if you will. And so the fast learners, they're asking me to speed up. The slower learners are asking me to slow down. So in the online experience, you do actually, you can throttle it yourself, where live, it is what it is. Also, the classes do have set dates and times. So with the live experience, right now we have it every Monday and Wednesday night, or whatever you've signed up for. So you are set to those dates and those times. You can't take it whenever you want. Another issue that we kind of brought up in the last piece of this is that you do have to shower. Again, it's kind of funny, but coming to the classroom, you need to shower, you need to get dressed, you do need to fight traffic, so there is that somewhat of an inconvenience of being in the class. And one of the other things we talked about also earlier is that there are crowds in the classroom. There's going to be 20, 30 people in this classroom with you. So again, for those people that have that aversion, the live class is going to maybe present an issue in some cases. Certainly we're willing to work with you on that to get you a seat that makes you feel comfortable, but at the end of the day, you are going to be around people. The next step is to decide what school to choose. Maybe you've decided that you want to do the online or the live experience, but what school to choose? The most important thing you can consider in choosing a school, whether it's online or live, is the instructor that's behind that. It's going to make the difference. Honestly, guys, I know that I'm being biased here. I may sound biased, but it is the instructor. I'm also a student in multiple situations, and it's really a struggle if the instructor is just not engaging, not fun, not willing to go after the thing. So the instructor really does help you. And especially on a live and an online experience, you need the instructor to have your back on that. Also, not all online courses, if you choose that way, are the same. There are different types of online experiences. Again, this is not me to disparage or to cut down any other course. That is not what I'm getting at, but just to make you aware of some of the differences. There is a slideshow presentation that some classes offer, some schools offer, and again, to paraphrase what they do, they'll have a series of slides that you watch, and it's up to you to read, up to you to pay attention to and gather the information. There's also schools that have just an audio recording. So basically what it is, it's typically an instructor that is sitting behind a microphone and not speaking to anybody. They're just recording a microphone, kind of similar to actually what I'm doing right now, but it's different for those classes because that's all they're teaching. There's not any engagement and all that. The way that I find that online is the best way is the way that I teach it and the way that I recommend is that I have a live audience and I record a video of that. So you get the interaction, you get the engagement. It's not just a stale or sterile environment of a slideshow or an audio recording without an audience. When I speak to an audience, I really get into this thing and I get student participation, and you're going to hear all that. So that's a big deal to take into account. Other things to consider when choosing a school, again, I think that Indiana Real Estate Institute is different because I am available and I am very passionate about teaching. I love this subject. I tease my students, I don't need to teach. I teach because I love it, and that is the honest truth. I don't do this to make money. I do it because I love this industry and I want to make it so much better. And that honestly I think comes out, and you'll see that. The online class is a live audience recorded video, so you're getting the real class as if you were in there from a previously recorded class. Since I'm your instructor, again, I've already mentioned, but I have several years of experience both in real estate and appraisal and construction and finance. I bring in a lot of real-world examples, things that you're going to learn from, not just the sterile environment of here's the definition of something. We're going to talk about the definitions of things, and then I'm going to bring in the real-world example of how you'll apply this, how you'll see it, how I've seen it. I might talk about a recent transaction, so it makes it very relevant and easily understood and relatable to you. Also, I do not teach you how to pass an exam. Certainly the exam is part of this, so you're going to learn that material. I teach you how to be a great agent. I teach you the professional side of this thing. I teach you beyond just the classroom. Certainly you're going to get the information so that you can pass those exams, and I recognize that that is an important piece. I don't want to let that go, but I am so much more into helping you be the best legendary agent that's out there. I'm engaged, I'm entertaining, and you're going to learn something here. This is not your typical boring class. I'm going to keep your interest. If you don't believe me, read my Google reviews, read my Facebook reviews, look on our website. I am not going to be the typical boring person that sits behind a podium and has the typical boring voice. I'm going to have fun with this thing, and so are you. Thank you for listening. I hope that helps you make a decision between online and live experiences, and also some of the differences that you'll see in different types of classes, different presentations, and hopefully you choose Indiana Real Estate Institute. Hope to see you soon.